Success does not come from talent alone. It comes from doing more than what is expected. In a small town in Texas, there lived a high school student named Mason Reed. He was an ordinary boy, average in studies, decent in sports, but often unnoticed in the crowd. Mason dreamed of achieving something big. But deep down, he believed that only the gifted ones made it to the top. He admired others, the football captain, the strata student, and even his best friend Noah, who always seemed to win awards. Mason thought, maybe success just isn't for people like me. But everything changed one autumn afternoon. It was the annual science fair week at his school. The best projects were displayed in the gymnasium, and the winner would get a scholarship to a summer program at a top U.S. university. Mason wanted to join, but there was a problem. He had no project, no plan, and only 3 days left before the deadline. That night, while scrolling through his phone, Mason came across a video titled, "How One Idea Can Change Your Life." It said, "Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start with what you have, where you are." Something inside Mason clicked. He decided to build something simple, a mini wind turbine that could charge small devices using natural wind power. His materials: old computer fans, soda cans, and a broken phone charger. The next 3 nights were long. Mason worked until midnight, cutting wires, testing circuits, and watching tutorials. His room looked like a workshop. He failed again and again. The blades wouldn't spin, the current wouldn't flow, and his mother kept reminding him to sleep. But Mason refused to give up. Finally, on the 3rd night, as he tightened the last wire and placed the fan outside his window, it started to spin slowly. Then the light on the charger blinked. It worked. Mason couldn't believe it. He jumped with joy. It wasn't perfect, but it was his creation. The next morning, he carried his project to school in a cardboard box. When he reached the gym, his heart sank. The other projects looked incredible. There were robots, solar panels, and even a water purifying system built by seniors. Mason thought about turning back, but a small voice whispered, "You came this far. Go the extra mile." He set up his display quietly. When judges walked past, Mason explained how his small turbine could help campers and rural students charge their devices using natural wind. His project was simple but full of passion. The judges smiled and asked thoughtful questions. When results were announced, Mason didn't win first place, but he won something better. The judges gave him the Innovation with Purpose Award. They said, "This project may be small, but it carries a big idea." Perseverance. The whole school cheered. For the first time, Mason felt proud, not for being perfect, but for trying harder than yesterday. After the science fair, Mason's story spread around school. Teachers began telling other students, "Be like Mason, go the extra mile." He was invited to present his turbine at a local community event. There, a renewable energy engineer noticed his work and offered him a summer internship. Mason couldn't believe it. A real engineer wanted him on their team. That summer, Mason learned how wind energy could help small communities save power. He realized that his little experiment had opened a big door, not just for his career, but for his confidence. Years later, Mason became a renewable energy building large-scale turbines across different parts of the US. But whenever someone asked him where it all began, he smiled and said, "In my bedroom, with a broken fan and a dream." Moral of the story? You do not need to be the best to succeed. You just need to go the extra mile. Talent may open the door, but effort keeps it open. If this story inspired you, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to Motivoons, where stories teach lessons that last a lifetime.